what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. We're out here on the legendary Angeles Crest Highway in California. And guess what I have next to me? The first drive of one of the most iconic cars in automotive history. This is it. This is the first drive of the 2024 Ford Mustang. But before we get into this Mustang EcoBoost entryway into the pony car family, let's talk about what's going on here. The Ford Mustang. It all started back at the New York World's Fair in 1964 and a half. And of course, it's been one of those long-standing traditions in the automotive scene. Now, what's fascinating is that when it comes to sports cars, this is the #1 selling sports car over its entire lifetime. And one thing that not a lot of other sports cars can claim is that the Mustang has been uninterrupted. What does that mean? There's been a Ford Mustang each and every year since 1964 and a half. Even America's true sports car, the Corvette, there was no official model year 1983 model. Now, what's fascinating is that, of course, the Mustang has changed its shape, its size, but it's stuck to the lineage of that rear-wheel drive sports car enjoyment. So what I want to find out is, when you're looking at the price and you're trying to get into a sports car, but you don't want to break the bank, is this EcoBoost Mustang the best way to go for 2024? Let's go ahead, let's dive in and find out. Right off the bat, one of my favorite colors, iconic silver, really showcases the lines of the new Mustang. And at the front end of the business, you're gonna see all new headlight design. What they did was they kind of squished it down and stretched it around the corner to have that tri-bar setup. It goes all the way back through the lineage, through the different model years and generations. That's gonna be your daytime running lamp and your turn signals. We have triple LED beam headlights. Working our way down, you do have these fake vent areas, and this is gonna be a zonk. I wish that they would have made a little bit of functionality out of here. And as you can hear on Angeles Crest Highway, there's some fast motorcycles and cars that cruise this road day in and day out. So I wish there was a little bit more functionality in this lower corner, maybe some fog lamps. Let me know how you feel about that portion. But as we come across the long, low-slung hood, you're gonna have full functionality in the center. There's our iconic Mustang. Of course, gloss black on this particular trim. Working our way down, we do have more functionality on the lower grille, and I like the way they put the flat black along the splitter area. Now, as we rise up, very interesting take on racing stripes. So they actually start on the front fascia, go into the hood, and then disappear because we have the optional black painted roof. Very creative, taking the red, blending it in with the black. Let me know how you feel about that. It actually caught my attention right away, something different, something unique, and I think that's what you're gonna find with all the new Mustangs for 2024. There's a lot of different ways you could personalize it straight from the factory, just like with those stripes. Now, when we come around the bend, since we have the black out package, because we got the black Mustang up front, we got the gloss black roof, here's gonna be your wheels. So many different ways to option your wheels, just like everything else from the factory. I like this sort of Y-spoke design that they got going on. 19-inch in diameter, 255 on the width, 40 series sidewall, and they went through all of the suspension bits. Everything has been revamped for model year 2024, from the suspension to the chassis. And wait until we pop the hood and see horsepower numbers for this EcoBoost. But I do like the gloss black with our iconic silver paint job. Looks really crisp. Now, coming down the side, nice and clean. You do have your gloss black on the mirror caps. There's our black roof with that blackout package. And then digging how they worked the side sill. It's got a nice texture to it, a little bit different than the previous generation. And remember, the last time we've had a new Mustang was 2015. So it's been a hot minute, and here we are with the redesign. Probably one of the biggest controversial areas is this right here. A lot of people claiming that this flared fender, this muscle car fender, reminds them of a Camaro. Let me know how you feel about it in the comment section, especially now that we're outside in the sunshine. We're not at an auto show or a studio filming it underground. But as we drop down, like I said, digging the style of the wheel, 19-inch wheels all the way around. And what's great is that you have on this particular model 255s all four corners. Now, as we drop back to the rear, you're gonna notice there's that flared fender. And I'm telling you, even though this vehicle is not wider, this Mustang is not wider than the previous generation, the way that it's styled, it makes it look like it's lower and wider. And I'm really digging that. It's really growing on me how they worked the rear trunk area with our tri-bar, that iconic tri-bar taillight setup. Very nice and angled. You got your blacked out pony, that Mustang badge. You can see where they blend in the rear view camera. And then of course up top, you got those other racing stripes. Now, if we didn't have the blackout package, the stripes would go all the way across the roof as well. So something to think about how you're optioning it, and then dropping it like it's hot, because it's really hot out here in California. You're gonna have your one exhaust tip on each side, slash cut oval opening, gonna let that EcoBoost do its thing, and you can see our new rear diffuser area. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and talk horsepower of this new EcoBoost. All right guys, we got the hood popped. You don't have a prop rod anymore. You have your hood struts right from the factory. Underneath the hood is that EcoBoost. Since this is a Mustang EcoBoost, that's your Mustang EcoBoost engine. Now let me point out a few things. First of all, very unique orientation to the airbox here. I haven't seen something like this, I don't think, ever. And then on top of it, they actually did revise and go through this 2.3 liter EcoBoost engine. Just something to think about as well. But of course, you have that extra room because this is the smaller of the two engines. So what do we have? We have a 2.3 liter turbocharged inline four. That equates to 315 horsepower, 350 pound-feet of torque. That's more horsepower than the previous generation. The big zonk, I think, is there's no 6-speed manual. So if you're new to sports cars, maybe you're younger and you wanted to learn on your EcoBoost Mustang how to drive a manual, can't do it. Only comes with a 10-speed automatic. 0 to 60 in about 5.2 seconds, quarter mile in 14 seconds flat. No official MPG numbers, but I'm gonna expect them to be fairly close to what you could find now on an EcoBoost, and that's 21 in the city, 29 on the highway, and the vehicle weighs right around 3,588 pounds. Now, there will be a performance package available that will give you lots of different goodies. We'll talk more about that when we do the Mustang GT review, which remember is gonna hit the channel tomorrow. But since we're starting with the EcoBoost, let's fire it up and hear what it sounds like. All right, guys, we're inside this 2024 Mustang EcoBoost. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I want to get into a performance style car, a sports style car. I really don't want a BRZ. I don't want a GR86. I don't even want a Supra. But I'm digging this new Mustang. How much is it? Very good question. Starting price for the Mustang EcoBoost for 2024 is $30,920. Now, of course, there's a plethora, a cornucopia of different options you could choose, but that's the starting price. Let's see how you can make an EcoBoost look on the interior and what's new for 2024 to the door panels. I love the two-tone style. You're gonna have soft touch material all across the top. I'm liking that almost like baseball glove, like a catcher's mitt glove of a color brown. With the stitching, you have that carbon fiber style trim that's actually built into the door panel. That's something new, that's something different, that's something creative. No gloss black, and then you have a decent door pocket there where you could easily get, I would say, 4 California cream Dunkin' Donuts. Obviously, what is California cream? That's gonna be lemon cream with a lemon vanilla frosting. Now going from the door panel to the dash, all new. There's more of that style that's not trim. It's actually built into the actual dash. Soft touch material. Love the way they did the Mustang script. Just a little bit of gloss black, but the silver makes it all better. Look at the way they did the stitching. You're definitely gonna feel like elevated when it comes to the quality materials. And then check out the technology. We have over 13 inches. That's a baker's dozen of screen size. 13.2 inch on this infotainment system screen. Let me know if you're digging how it's all one piece. I'm not 100% sold on it right now. I'm still on the fence. But the great news is you got Sync 4, and then here's some of the other goodies. Hit the home button. You can see how you have your screen set up here, and then watch this. Go into features, My Mustang. Not my Mustang, your Mustang. You could actually take the Mustang, spin it 24 different ways from Sunday, just like on Gran Turismo. You have your auxiliary gauges. Look at this. You could have 5. If this is too many, now you have 3. Love the way you could customize it any which way you want. You go into custom mode. Here's all your different things you could do. Set up each thing for each driver profile. Say you want sport on your steering, or if you want comfort, you could set it. You could have it your way. This is like the Burger King of infotainment system screens. You get to have it your way. And then of course, you go down the cluster. This is the gauges. So we could go into normal, but who wants to be normal? That's kind of boring. Sport, check it out. Track, ooh, calm. If you have too much information in your life, you could just go down to one thing. Or my personal favorite, growing up in the 80s, the Fox body gauges, man. Reminds me of my best friend in high school, Chris's 92 notchback. That's gonna look amazing. Wait until I show you on the driver's side. And then you come right back to home. Let me throw it into reverse. They did a better job on the resolution, good size. You got your backup sensors and all that. The one thing that's gonna take some getting used to is all your AC controls are in the dash. So let me know how you feel about that. You're just gonna have to be a little pinpoint precise, but you got dual climate, which is nice, heated steering wheel, and 3 stages of heated seats. No ventilated seats on this particular trim. There's more of that nice design that they put into the material. You got your red, dark cherry red, atomic fireball red start stop button. You got your little quick, easy access buttons like my Mustang button. You have a real volume knob, wireless charging, USB-C, USB-A, and a 12 volt. Highly recommend you run a radar detector. This is gonna control the only transmission available on the EcoBoost, which is a 10-speed automatic. This one has the standard electric e-brake. You can get that optional drift e-brake, which I'm gonna be showing you that definitely in the Mustang GT review. 2 cup holders, super soft. This is Charmin soft material with the brown stitching. Open it up, what do we got? There's your Mustang key fob right there. Looking good. Flip it around, you got remote start, you got a 12 volt, and you could put, I would say, 3 California oranges. And remember, even though I'm from Florida, most of the oranges come from California, not from Florida, believe it or not. Farmers are starting to grow peaches in Florida. It's got me confused. And then the seats. Love this nice soft material. The perforated, nice bolstering. You do have electric on the bottom portion and manual for the back. That to me is a bit of a zonk. I would like to see all electric. They carve out the headliner very nicely to give you plenty of room. But why don't you get your butt over here? I want to show you behind this new flat bottom steering wheel in the all new Mustang. All right guys, business time behind the wheel of the all new Mustang EcoBoost. Love the aluminum sill plate. It's like it was stamped there by Henry Ford himself. Pedal box, same thing. Aluminum throttle, brake pedal. Small dead pedal like the previous gen. I wish they'd make that a little bit larger and make it in aluminum, but of course we have the Mustang all-weather floor mats. That's worth an extra 5 horsepower in my book. You got your lower seat controls that are electric like I showed you on the passenger side. This on the driver's side, same thing, it's manual on the back. Not my favorite, but I love the way the space is oriented in here, and I'm loving rubbing my hands all over this. All new steering wheel, flat bottom. You got the updated Mustang horse there galloping away. Some of that carbon fiber material built in with a little bit of silver. Flat black on all the switchgear. It is a manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel. Check it out though. I like the way they have the mode buttons right on the steering wheel. Easy to get to. And then look at that dash. 12.3 inches. You have a Costco-sized amount of gauges in the center and all that information, more than what Neil Armstrong had when he landed on the moon. Check out the modes. I'm just gonna show you a couple. Watch the Mustang GT walk around to see all of them. And then of course we have our gauges. When you adjust the gauges in the infotainment system, it actually changes everything. Look at that, bam, track mode. Let's go Fox body. Let's go back in time. I'm in my DeLorean. Boom, I'm not in a DeLorean, I'm in a 2024 Mustang EcoBoost. Like that setup, no head-up display on this particular trim. I'm not showing the back seat. If you wanna see it, watch the walk around we did of the Mustang GT here in Cali. But why don't we go ahead, I'll show you the trunk, and then I'm ready to haul the mail in this Mustang EcoBoost. Guys, time to get in the trunk. I think one of the best news about the Mustang is that you still are getting plenty of trunk space. So you open it up, what you're gonna be greeted to is around 13.3 cubic feet of space. The seats can do a 60-40 split, and there's that subwoofer from our B&O sound system right in the trunk here on the passenger side to give you that thump-a-thump-thump sound. Let's pull up the cargo floor, shall we? No spare. So you actually get a can of flat fix and an electric air compressor. No spare on this EcoBoost, but you know what? I'm not gonna spare you any other waiting time. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go ahead, let's jump in and go on throttle in the new Mustang EcoBoost. All right, guys, we are inside this 2024 Mustang EcoBoost. I have it in track mode, and I'm ready to rip it through the twisty bits of Angeles Crest Highway. Such a rich history to this road. Lots of OEMs test their vehicles out here, and here we are on Raiti's Rides, starting with this first drive of the Mustang EcoBoost. Make sure you tune in tomorrow morning, because I'm gonna have the Mustang GT for you. But what I'm liking and what I'm noticing right away is they really reworked the steering. The steering is much quicker than the previous generation. I noticed that right off the bat. Seats are comfortable, a little awkward to get into the proper position, but once you're in like Flynn, and I'm loving it. So far, the screens, they don't have too much glare, and I'm very happy to report that. Not a lot of glare. And what's great is that having the mode selector button right on the steering wheel is perfect. That to me makes the most sense, and it's like a bright silver, which is great. We don't have anybody behind us. I just dropped my water bottle. I'm gonna pick that up real quick and put it in the cup holder. Are you ready? We're gonna go on throttle. On throttle, here we go. Nice. Very, very purposeful shifts of that 10-speed automatic. You'll notice that you're getting some pumped in sound, and it actually doesn't sound too bad. But that whole thing about the balanced steering, it feels good. Brakes feel really, really good. I can't wait to get in the Mustang GT with the big Brembos. But with the 10-speed automatic, it really does know what gear to be in, especially at the exit of each of these tight turns on Angeles Crest Highway. But really, the weight transfer is nice. You're not getting a bunch of body roll. And remember, this is not the high performance version. You could get the high performance version, and you could have that active exhaust. You could have the different rear gear ratio. You could have the stiffer front end from the strut tower brace. But this is a really good way to kind of start off the first drive of this vehicle, because this is the entry level into the Mustang family. But I'm telling you, it puts a nice smile on your face. And I think they did a great job, not only with changing up the steering, but also the transmission. The transmission seems much more competent. And yes, I'm bummed out too, no manual on the EcoBoost, but what are you gonna do? You still can get a manual on the Mustang GT, and of course the Tremec, which is in the Dark Horse. But look at this, the way it holds a line. Woohoo! Yeah! These are the kinds of roads that I dream of when I'm sleeping, because we don't have them in Florida. On throttle, here we go. You can hear that pumped-in sound. Let me know how you feel about it. To me, it's not too bothersome. It's kind of accentuating what's happening on the outside of the vehicle. But all the materials in here, if you've been one of those people waiting and praying and wanting and wishing and hoping that the Tooth Fairy was going to put a new Mustang under your pillow because you wanted a better interior, the interior is definitely better. It's just the screens. It's tough to say. It really is. It's either you're going to love them or you're not going to love them. But I think it's one of those things that's going to grow on people. I know it's growing on me a little bit more and more every time I take a turn, because the 12.3-inch digital display is super clear and crisp. So that's the really good news about that. But I do miss actually the digital gauge cluster in the previous generation, believe it or not. But I'm definitely digging the infotainment system, that's for sure. Another thing that's a little different, I keep reaching for paddles. There's no paddles behind the wheel. You can't even use the shifter. So if you're looking to manually shift this thing, it's not gonna happen. Not gonna happen on this particular one, that's for sure. You do have wireless charging, which is really nice. Always nice to have wireless charging. And you got all the great connectivity in here, which is awesome too. So that's really good news. But really nice to just be out here and enjoy the bends, this ribbon of road. Where you really notice it is as you're rolling on throttle. Like I said, it seems to know what gear to be in very well, more so than the previous generation. And I think that's where you're gonna really enjoy the fun factor when driving this new Mustang EcoBoost, because it's not chasing through the different gears. I really like that. The great news is that the seat comfort is phenomenal. They really did a great job on the lower cushion. The back portion is nice. Obviously not a ton of bolstering, but we'll bring you the lowdown on the Mustang GT, and definitely the dark horse when it comes to the seats. But comfort, definitely there. I think the only thing that still got me hung up is the AC. Going into the screen, it's gonna take some practice. It's gonna take some practice, and I'm not so sure if it's my favorite. I wish they would have just gave me just some simple buttons to get through the AC controls rather than have to go through the screen. Maybe some shortcut buttons or something, like where the start stop engine button is. That would have been a nice little touch. But let's do one more on throttle, because I know we need to get back and do some other driving in this car. You ready? On throttle, here we go. Nice. Definitely feeling the difference between this generation and the previous generation. Now, is it gonna totally blow your mind? No. But if you've had a lot of seat time in the previous generation EcoBoost, I think you're really gonna enjoy what you're getting from this one. Love the visibility. And of course, those who cry and complain saying, the EcoBoost is not a real Mustang, it doesn't have a V8. Listen, it's a great way for people to get into the Mustang family. Not everybody wants 1,000 horsepower. Some people use the car more as a daily driver, and you're gonna get a better fuel return on the fuel economy on this thing. So, I mean, call it what you want, but I really think that it's important to have it in the lineup. Remember, when the Mustang first came out, you had a straight six. Straight six. And this, when you look at 315 horsepower, Fox body Mustangs didn't have 315 horsepower. We would have freaking given our right arm, well, maybe not our right arm, because then I can't drive manual. Maybe I give up, something else, but maybe chocolate for a month. To have 315 horsepower back when we were in high school in any of the Fox body Mustangs, that would have been like a dream come true. So you got to put it all into perspective. It's kind of crazy how this horsepower thing has gotten out of control over the past few years. All right, guys, one more time. Here we go. On throttle! Through the twisty bits, here we go. See, you just roll on the throttle and it's right in that gear that you want. I'm really digging that aspect of the 10-speed in this EcoBoost. Brakes feel great, even though we don't have any big, huge Brembos or anything like that. But I'm telling you, it's a fun car, and that's what the Mustang is about. It's about a fun car to drive, and this is why they've gone continuous without being stopped since 1964 and a half. And you can see I'm not white knuckling the steering wheel. It's very composed, very easy to drive. And it just feels good. And the 10-speed shifts very quickly, that's for sure. Very, very quickly. But we gotta get back and wrap this one up. They want their Mustang EcoBoost, and I want to get into a Mustang GT, let's be honest. I want to get into a nice manual Mustang GT. We're gonna get back and wrap this one up, so I'll see you in a Mustang minute. Here we go, on throttle. All right, guys, it's been a hot, heavy kind of day out here on Angeles Crest Highway with the first drive of the new Mustang. We got to thank everybody at Ford for having us present for the media launch. This is the official media launch. Remember, tune in tomorrow morning, same time, same channel, 6 a.m. Eastern for the full review with driving, first drive of the Mustang GT. But let me know what you think. Does the EcoBoost Mustang check all the boxes off to be that value price sports car, that entryway into the Mustang family, better than going with a different brand and a totally different car? Let me know down in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile coming back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raiti's Rides family. Of course, none of this would be possible if it wasn't for Lori working that camera like a champ. Show us some love in the comment section. Thank you, Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.